Good morning and good evening, Carolyn. Great to be here
And,
with you.
and good morning to both of you. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's so lovely. We've had a bit of a chat before we've hit record, and it's like having a chat with an old friend. You've helped us a lot, but you've done readings. I was thinking about it when we were chatting for my father, my mother, my two daughters, my brothers.
The family, the whole family.
Like the whole family. And I think, it could almost be to everyone watching this, almost say no more. Everyone who is on a spiritual awakening journey or even considering that this might be something they're interested in, one of the first things to help lay a really nice base and a foundation of where to begin, we often recommend getting a channeling or a reading from you. And that's
Thank
why
you.
we're on this call this morning.
Yes, I've met a lot of your friends and connections, and so I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you want to ask.
And I think right at the start too, for people who are short on time and they're keen, how do they get in contact with you?
Okay, so first of all, I'm Carolyn Zeiser, and I'm a channel of information from the angelic realm as well as the Akashic records. I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor, helping you through your spiritual awakening and ascension journey. So the first thing you can do is go to my website, is purplerainhealing.com, and it shows all my services. You can read about me, and then there's a contact button that you can contact me on if you're interested in any of those services. So I'm also on Facebook under Purple Rain Healing. And YouTube. I should mention my YouTube channel. That's under my name, Carolyn Zeiser. So that's available on my website as well.
And we'll have those details also available at the end of this, so people can copy it all down and get that information sent out to them. Carolyn, I think a really good place to start is to start with someone who's never done anything like this before, because that was us. We were sort of dipping our toe into the water of, you met my brother Dan first, right? You did a couple of readings.
Yes, he was the one that started everything.
Yeah, he started this. And, he said, oh, you should get a reading of Carolyn. And we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? I mean, we didn't even know how it all works. So perhaps you could share a little about how your channeling sessions work.
Sure, exactly. So I started this business about, I guess it's 4 years ago now. And I started out with, and I'll just go over my services real quickly, distance energy healing and channeling. And I knew I had an energy healing modality, but I also realized I was channeling information for people individually, their individual journey, like crazy. So I put the two together and I created a session where you can have an energy healing with aligning your chakras, working through your energy body, any issues that you have. And then we do a full-on channeled sessions that's recorded, and then I transcribe the document and I put it into a real kind of beautiful document for you to read. It's a narrative. It's actually a conversation that I have between your angels and guides and your higher self and myself, and I bring that through in conversation format so you get both sides of that. And that's also, I also do channeled sessions without the distance energy healing where you get a document. And they're typically a minimum of 8 pages long. So they'll go on and on forever, right? So, but typically a minimum of 8 pages of what I call divine information on your soul journey. Yeah. And so what this helps people do is, and some of the information would be really new for people that are just starting, particularly when we get into the idea of past lives. And so one of the things that is prevalent with the work that I do is I bring through past lives almost always regularly in a session. Most people will always get one. Some people get multiple. It just isn't divine timing as to when you are to receive that information. So it's a soul journey. It's not just this incarnation. We talk about sometimes the inception of your origination on Earth, because we do have a time where we actually do come into Earth, and then all the way to present day we talk about. And I answer your questions. I ask the question and then we get information back. So you have the opportunity essentially to provide anything you want to know about, and you'll receive the information that you're supposed to receive at that time. So those are the documented sessions that I do where you get the actual document.
Thanks for coming on, Carolyn. It's such a nice journey that we've had with you, especially because when we awoke, we didn't even believe in past lives.
Well, me either.
We came in and then we died at the end. So this has been a huge expanding moment for us when we first got our past life reading from you, particularly from me, because I had a lot of trauma. And when I got the reading, I asked a few questions and then all this stuff came back. So it really did kickstart my awakening journey, because it gave me the encouragement to go and get the help that they suggested, go and do the healing, the meditation that they suggested in your reading. And the document, guys, is a document that you get through after the session. So while Carolyn's tapping into your higher self, you call that, right, Carolyn?
Oh, yeah. Higher self, angels and guides, and they're there too. Yep.
So you sit in a meditative state, and because she's over in the States, it might be that she sets the appointment while you're asleep here in Australia or around the world, wherever you are. And basically she'll tap in, get the document, and then maybe 24 to 48 hours later, you'll get the document on email, and you get to read that, and then you have it for,
Yes, you have it. And the reason they want a document sent in these, because some people say, well, just send a recording. They want the words read, because there's something energetic about reading the words that have come through the divine. And so consequently, that's why you end up receiving a document. Plus, it's a great way to be able to refer back to it. And when you see it, there's something different than just hearing it auditorily.
Yeah.
And one thing I was going to mention too is with the channeled document, you don't have to be available for the sessions. With the distance energy healing, because I'm working through your energetic body, typically we schedule a time to be able to have you be available, but you can also do that while you sleep with the energy healing. So
yeah. And when I remember I did it early in the morning when the sun was rising, and I actually did a meditation when you did mine.
Yes.
And I remember feeling a whole lot of energy, emotion come over me through that session, and I thought, oh my God, something is energetically happening. And this is me, new rookie, knowing nothing about spiritual awakening.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it just really felt good, and it felt like I was coming home in a sense. I was finding the truths of who I was, who I've been in past lives, and connecting the dots back to integrate emotions that perhaps I hadn't learned lessons on yet. So
you bring up a good you bring up a good point about what you do in the process while I'm actually doing the process. So if any of you listening understand what Reiki is, that's typically what most people know. I do distance energy healing. So it's kind of like a Reiki. It's an energy healing that's sent through the airwaves, essentially. And I have had all kinds of different reactions, but essentially it's typically a very gentle kind of thing where I'm working through your chakras. You'll feel in your energy body lots of times. It all depends on you individually where that energy needs to go. And you may feel something right away, you may not, but a lot of people have initial reactions to it. And then what happens is the energy actually unfolds over time. And what I have found in understanding the patterns over weeks, months, and even years, things start to evolve and open up. And then people come back to their documents and they go, oh my gosh, my journey has unfolded this way. And I'm like, really? So it's kind of interesting to see what happens over time.
Yeah, that's actually, you've reminded me to go right back to the very first one. I'd love to read it, because it's actually interesting when you said you need to read it. When I read it, I just had tears. When I read these things that, I've always had an affinity with water, and all that stuff that came up, patterns over and over that, on the soul journey, all to do with water. I was like, that's why,
In fact, I think your whole family's got a whole water thing.
Crazy. And it's like it turns on something that's buried in you. And
that's a really good point.
It doesn't.
Okay. Yes, I want to comment on that if you don't mind, because it's like, okay, they just said the word to me. By the way, I'll probably just channel as we're talking. They said the word to me, latent. What's latent in you? Because what they've always said is the mind, or excuse me, the body brings it in our incarnation. It houses it in the DNA. Our soul knows our whole journey and knows all this, but it's when the conscious human mind clicks in. What they always say, it's mind, body, soul, and they say the Holy Trinity. That's when it connects and clicks in, and then you can start diving into your journey, and some kind of, like you said, awareness actually happens. And then it kind of opens a gateway for you to then start traveling through to your bigger journey. That's what I have found with these sessions. A lot of people have had happen, similar to what you just said.
Yeah. Well, it's been so good for us. We got our reading, excuse me, a year ago before we went to Costa Rica to do some medicine. And that was really good preparation to start the healing process before we did that particular modality. But just recently, Pete and I got our a reading from you again, because when you heal all layers of, say, the onion back, more truth is exposed from your previous past lives. So we got some more interesting past lives brought to us, and it's just given us a lot of motivation to keep going, keep progressing, keep sharing our message and the truth of the universe here. And that's why we wanted to bring Carolyn on to share with all of you guys, because it's been such a huge part of our journey having her help us. So thank you so much, Carolyn.
Well, thank you. And I just have to say, your growth has been just extraordinary. It's so fun to watch this happen too. So, and it's been a joy to work with you guys. I can't believe that was a year ago.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. But yeah,
Roxy's
you've just
come so far. I just know, you know, she got that first reading and it was like saying where she's at on the journey. But
right.
You know, as soon as she was at first, she was a bit like, oh.
I cried.
I know, it's true, because those words, and they speak, this is the other thing, they speak in rhyme and poetically. It's very angelic. Yes. And so what I do is I just leave that the way it is, and that's what you get. Is it's kind of a little different, a little poetic, a little rhymey, but yeah, it's the words can really hit you too. And then we did some mentoring sessions together too, where the channeling is just right there with us, working you through your individual awakening journey on a more regular basis. So that's a different way of bringing through information, but it's still all channeling information for your own individual journey. So yeah, but those words in the document are pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming from a high frequency place. Yes. And you know, that's high realms, high yes. vibration, and it's healing within itself. That, you know,
that's exactly it. That's why they want you to see, because our eyes are, you know, our pathway to the soul. And so they're like, if you read those words, that is an energetic situation that then occurs within you and opens you up. So
yeah, I think such a good place for people to start. Very much so. After you got that reading, you got inspired to, like, basically every single week you were doing something, some sort of, so going along to it, like, and I'll break it down, going along to see a counselor, or going along to do a psychologist to do some sort of you know, healing work, some sort of something for the body. But like every week working on yourself until you were doing it twice a week, and then she was really doing it every day, and then she'd never miss a night. Now, if she misses a day of meditation, no matter, even if there's visitors, she's like, hey, I got to just disappear.
Oh, I know.
How much importance she places on it now. She'll like leave me sitting here with the guests and disappear.
Yep. And Pete, you bring up a really good point that I just want to make, is that this awakening and ascension journey, as you're going on it, it's not about us just sitting back and going, oh, okay, have it done to me. It is about doing work. It is about participating and doing that deep inner digging that will show up for you through signs and messages and things like you've had with your readings and whatnot. But it's just about us participating, because, you know, we have free will. We can turn a blind eye to this whole thing and say, I'm not doing this. You know, this thing's in my face. I'm not doing this. But you'll be compelled to do it. Your soul self will be guiding you. But again, they always say the human has to come along for the ride. And it's true. And then you get paired up with their energy, and you keep moving higher and higher, and you keep getting more of their goods, as well as you continue to progress in your journey as you come along.
Yeah. And let's just talk about why we do it. Like, how do we feel? Like, for me, I feel excited. Like, I'm getting downloads now because I've cleared past life traumas and this lifetime traumas. I feel happy, joy, bliss. I'm a better wife to Pete and mother to the kids, and life just is easy. I'm not anxious or in fear anymore. And I don't know about you, Carolyn, how you used to feel compared to now. It's such a beautiful journey of, you know, freeing yourself from pain.
Right, because it's about what happens in this journey is we start removing blocks of emotion, experience, things we've done to ourselves, things other people have done to us, past life stuff that you don't even know is happening unless you're able to tap into past lives. But not a lot of people can do that, right? But you're bringing in more than just from this life, you're bringing in from past lives to clear out. So you have a lot of things that are happening to break through so you don't have those blockages. So you're actually, and this is summarizing it, but you're actually a clear vessel for the light so that you can raise in frequency and vibration. And so you're getting rid of all that gunk that we do to ourselves as humans, right? Our societal stuff, you can talk religion, you can talk familial, it just goes on. And things we do to ourselves, we're sometimes our own worst enemy, right?
Yeah.
So it's about forgiveness of ourselves as well, and letting go of guilt and shame and all those emotions that kind of weigh us down. And so in the awakening journey, we get lifted up by doing the work that you guys have been doing and other clients.
It's such a beautiful journey. We're so excited to see what the next year holds.
I know, I am too, because I love watching you guys, and it's so cool. Like I was saying to you beforehand, it's just so neat to watch your high vibration with your videos that you do and your Instagram. And I'm like, oh my God, they just bring so much joy to me, and they're like so happy. And it's been fun to see your growth.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for this. This has been fun.
Well, it's been so good to actually jump on a call with you today. As we've been chatting before, it's like we've seen one another, but it's always...
I know. And here we are finally for the first time, actually real time,
I know. And so I think thanks for giving everyone an overview just to like fill in the gaps, particularly for people who are new to this sort of thing. And
yes.
I know you're going to be getting some Aussies getting in contact with you, and
I love the
our little Aussie family.
I love them all. No, thank you for that. I really appreciate this, because it's been really fun getting to know so many Australians.
Oh, excellent.
All because of you guys.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks,
You're
Carolyn.
welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.